right, so thanks for talking to me, Roberta, today. I'm really looking forward to talking with you about all of the remote working research we've done, because we've first started talking about it about a year ago, I think. It was March 2019 where we kind of had our first discussions about this project. And so we've been working on it for about a year now. So we've got a whole bunch of research results. We've written a whole bunch of articles. I'm going to put them in the video links below. And so I thought we could just talk through some of the research, some of the background on remote working, and some of the insights you might have, since a lot more people are working remotely now than ever before. So do you want to start out by just talking about your kind of history, your experience researching, teaching, remote working, and those kind of topics?
Yeah, it's actually interesting when I sit down and try to, figure out where this all started, because it kind of evolved. So when I think back, when I went back to work after my kids were in school, the conditions for going back to work were I will be available for my kids whenever they need. I will be able to go on every field trip. I will be able to weekly go in and help in the classroom, all of these things. And by the way, I will make sure that my work is done. And they agreed to it. And so that's always been my mindset for work. And so that whole flexible scheduling is part of what remote work looks like. But more intentionally, back in 2008, when the economy wasn't doing well, I was one of those lucky people who was terminated from her position. My department was not revenue generating, and so we were gone. That was it. Yeah. And so after, you go through the grieving process, sitting by the ocean, saying, what do I do with the rest of my life? I decided that it was now or never if I was going to start my own business. So that was 2008. So in the fall of 2008, I joined Community Futures here in Kelowna, in Canada. And it's a fantastic program all about helping people start their business. So in 2009, April, Sound Consulting was born. So in all my roles that I've had working in industry, I've always been involved in some kind of HR, never a formal HR title, but training and development, performance management, recruitment and selection. And one of my first gigs as my own consultant was going in and doing terminations. So I was contracted through another organization, and I was shocked and dismayed by the realization that so many of these people, like this totally came out of the blue. They had no idea. And so I was asked, well, surely your last performance review, it gave you some idea that maybe things weren't going well, because, the HR person would tell them the news and then I would go in and kind of talk them down off the ledge. So I began to think, if people who are working face-to-face are this unaware of their performance, how on earth does that work for all of those people who are working as contractors, they're working remotely, they're not seen face-to-face. And so where are they getting their encouragement? Where are they getting their performance reviews? Or is it really that whole thing of out of sight, out of mind? So that really started me thinking and questioning what's going on in that realm. Then our son started working remote. So for, I think about 4 years, then they traveled throughout Europe. So Nathan and his wife and 6 kids. And so seeing remote from his eyes and the different challenges that he faced, what did that look like? And then our daughter subsequently, she also works remote here in Kelowna. She works from home. So there had to be some things that were common that needed to be in place, some competencies to be in place that would help you succeed as remote work. Yeah. And so the first research really started with that. And one of the things I'm committed to is making sure that we're connecting with industry in all of the research we do. So I am not an academic in the traditional sense of the word. I came out of industry, so I worked in all different sectors. And so it's important to me that both voices came to the table. So with Nathan working as a remote worker, myself now an academic and still doing my own business on the side, I wanted those two voices together. So we collaborated on the project. And that really was the start of the formal research, and then moving on from doing this with Nathan and then collaborating with you, because you had been in my classroom talking about HPTI.
Yep.
And, then starting talking about, okay, so here's a tool. How does this inform success in the remote field?
Yeah, exactly.
And then it just kind of grew from there.
And that's an interesting one, because I've always said with, personality testing is that you should be able to look at that kind of framework for any type of success or in any environment. And initially I talked about, certain industries. So you could say leadership is one type of role, or a technical role is one type of role, but remote working you could look at as a role, right? Because it's got certain commonalities, a certain type of environment, a certain type of structure or lack thereof. So very interesting to see how those kind of consistent, stable, predictable psychological traits, like personality traits, can interact with a remote working environment.
Oh, completely. And to really help people understand that it's fine to say everybody should work remote. Everybody doesn't want to work remote, and everybody is not really, they're not all going to be successful working remote. Yeah. And to make sure that you're hiring the right people and you're putting people in positions where they're going to be successful with the right support is really important.
Yeah, and understanding that variation too, right? Because we see with personality traits, some people, if you give them independence, they're going to be able to get everything done on their own. They might need very little check-in or guidance. Whereas some people might need daily or weekly support, advice, might need a lot of support getting stuff set up. But then even then in the long term might need a lot more regular kind of motivation and external support and kind of check-ins and little nudges to make sure that they're on the right track and getting things done, right?
And it's not a reflection on their ability to do a job. No. It's not a reflection on anything other than the fact of this is not a context. This isn't an environment where they're going to be most successful.
Yeah, exactly. And like any good manager knows that, no two people are the same, and you can't manage everyone as if they have, the same personality, the same type, because you want that range of people to do different jobs in different environments and to succeed in that.
Exactly. Yeah.